My next guest became one of the most recognizable faces in pop, selling almost 4 million singles and albums. He was suffering from a socially disabling stammer. He couldn't speak to his friends in the pub. He couldn't promote himself as a recording artist because interviews were impossible. And the only time he could find words on stage was when he started to sing. I want you to have a look now at him 5 years ago, trying to introduce himself to the Pop Idol adjudicators.
My name's... Come on, man.
No, just take your time.
Gareth Gates.
Will you welcome, please, Gareth Gates. It's good to see you, Gareth. Good to have you back on the show. First of all, I know that seems like a lifetime ago.
A long time ago, yes.
But can you remember what was going through your mind? This is before you get to sing at all, and you can't tell them who you are.
Having a stammer is very frustrating, and you've got so much to say, so much to give, and it's always so difficult that you're not able to express what you really mean and what you really want to say. And so it was very, very difficult. As a stammerer, you go through all sorts of emotions, shame, guilt even. You feel sorry for the listener, simply because you know that they're feeling awkward whilst you really try and get your words out. And it was a really hard time for me.
But still, you had enough ambition to want to go through this painful process simply of telling them who you were.
I never let my stammer ever hold me back, though. Fortunately, I always had something else that I could fall back on, and that was my music. I found my release in music, so even though I wasn't able to express myself through speech, I was able to express myself through my music, through the playing of my instruments and singing. And so as a very small child, I'd write little songs just to simply say what I wanted to say. And,
so that means you had the stammer for as long as you can remember, or do you remember when it started?
I've always had a stammer for as long as I could speak, or not speak.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, for as long as I can remember. It all sort of started at school, I think. And yeah, it's just something that I've had to deal with. However, I think it's made me a stronger and a better person. I'm actually, I could never say this at the time, but I think I'm actually glad that I went through that. It's made me a stronger person.
Was there any particularly traumatic thing that happened to you in school? You could say, yeah, that might have caused it, like I was slow at mathematics, or, you know, I was too young for the rest of the class, or too small, or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any one particular cause for anyone having a stammer. There's lots of people on the McGuire Programme, the speech therapy programme I'm on now, and people say they have a stammer for various different reasons. My dad actually had a stammer. He was one of the fortunate ones that actually grew out of his stammer.
He didn't do any programs or any therapies, it just stopped?
He was just very lucky, and I wish I was him. However, I'm part of a speech therapy programme now, and I've had to work very hard. And I'm really proud of what I've done and the hard work I've had to put in.
Now, what's this about the iceberg? What's the comparison with the iceberg?
Okay, well, having a stammer, we visualise it as an iceberg. So only 10% of the stammer is visual to, you know, to the listener. And so there's all the blocks. Like if I wanted to say, well, one of my hardest words to say was Bradford, which is the place where I'm from in England, and I'd be like, it's really trying to get my words out, and it'd be so difficult. Now that's the 10% what people can see. However, a stammer really, roughly, is about 90% psychological. It's the build-up of negative associations, negative experiences that have built up in the past.
And would you use coping strategies not to use the particular letter that was causing you trouble?
Well, yeah, one of the biggest things with the stammer is avoidance. So you'd avoid the word that you're trying to say. So if I went into a grocery store and I really fancied a banana, and I wasn't able to say it, I'd walk in and go, oh, I'm able to get a fruit that's yellow and slightly bent. And they go, oh, you mean a banana? Yeah, banana, that's the one and so, you know, and you really feel like a fool, and you look stupid because you can't just walk in and say the word banana.
Yeah, and yet, not being able to say banana or even your own name,
Sure.
you were able to do what we're going to see now. You were able to sing. Have a look.
Everybody's looking for that something. Just one thing that makes it all complete. You'll find it in the strangest places, places you never knew it could be.
Wow. And that was in the same piece of VT that we played there. We just stopped it, and
Sure.
you went on to do that. So what is it about singing, being able to sing a little rhyme to your parents that I want cornflakes or whatever it might be, or I'm not going to school today?
Yeah.
Singing it is okay, but saying it wasn't.
I don't think there's any real answer to that. However, the first time I met a guy called Dave McGuire, who's the founder of the McGuire Programme, that's one of the first questions that I asked, because often that's the first question people ask me: why are you able to sing and without a stammer? And so I asked him, and his response made a lot of sense to me. When I sing and I'm on stage, I adopt a different persona. I'm not Gareth Gates. I'm Gareth Gates' singing, so I'm acting. I'm playing a role, and you know that made a lot of sense to me. Also, we teach a new way of breathing, and it uses a different part of the diaphragm called the costal diaphragm, and which often opera singers and athletes used. And so it's a combination of the two, I think.
Now, how did you discover the McGuire Programme? Had you tried other things like hypnotherapy and acupuncture and all sorts of things?
I was hypnotized, and it didn't help. And I tried various different sort of speech therapy courses, you know, just the normal speech therapy, and that never really helped me. And I think it's one of the reasons and one of the great things about the McGuire Programme is the after support. You attend a 4-day course, or 3-day course, sorry, and you know, they teach you a new way of speaking, a new way of breathing, and a new way of thinking.
And does it work as quickly as that? 3 days?
Yeah, 3 days. However, the main work is after the programme, and so, you know, there's people on the end of the phone whenever you need them. There's support groups that you can attend sort of once, twice a week. And I think that's the main difference with other therapies. It's people promise a cure, and the McGuire Programme isn't that. It's something that you need to work at and work very hard.
You don't call yourself a cured stammerer. You call yourself a recovering.
I'm a recovering stammerer, yeah. And I've no idea whether I'll actually ever be able to call myself a recovered stammerer. I don't know. Maybe the fear will be so low, you know, in the future that I could do that. I've never met anybody on the programme who's that far into the programme. Everyone on the programme labels themselves.
Once you pay the fee, and it's €1,000 or something like that for the fee, it's a lifelong thing. I mean, you don't pay anything else afterwards, do you?
No, and you can attend as many courses as you can, and that's the one thing I want to stress. It certainly isn't a cure. It's something you need to work hard at, and the best people on the programme are those that really want it and really work at it.
You have a thing called cancellation. Now, what's cancellation?
Well, basically it's if you've been in a situation in the past, a speaking situation that you haven't handled well, or you've avoided in the past year, we teach that you should go back after being in the programme, go back to that situation and replace that negative experience and association with a positive one.